Assalamu alaikum. Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum salam. Wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Yeah, man.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الحمد لله رب العالمين. وأفضل الصلاة وأتم التسليم على سيدنا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين. ورضي الله تعالى عن سادة التابعين وعلماء العاملين وأئمة الأربعة المجتهدين ومقلديهم إلى يوم الدين. أما بعد, السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته, everybody.
Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Wa alaikum salam wa barakatuh. Asma. Alhamdulillah. Thanks for watching. Alhamdulillah. Thank you, Sister Fatima. Thanks for watching. Alhamdulillah.
Alhamdulillah, you're listening to Noodles of Man Radio. Right now, you're listening to our one and only show. Called the Half Your Deen Show.
Inshallah.
What is Hen talking about? She said only on Mixler.
Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. What you mean?
Oh, she said on your thing. Oh, this is before we broadcasted. Okay.
Oh, okay.
Okay, alhamdulillah. We need our brothers and sisters who are listening to let us know if they can hear us and see us. Let me do something real quick. Let me mute this phone so you won't hear all the notifications. Hold on. Uh-oh. I should have did this before I started.
Yeah, you should have.
I knew you was going to say something slick.
Yeah, alhamdulillah.
Maybe that'll be better, inshallah.
Inshallah.
Alhamdulillah.
Alhamdulillah.
Our calling numbers, we don't hardly get callers anymore. 412-567-3030. 412-567-3030. Hit us up. Call us.
Don't be shy. Alhamdulillah. If you have a comment, question, opinion, it's welcome.
Is the phone line up and running?
The phone line is up and running. And just remember that...
I'm testing it out.
Oh, you testing it out?
567-3030.
Is it ringing? I hear it ringing on your end.
Yeah.
I don't see it ringing on my end yet.
Two rings.
Okay, there it is.
Alhamdulillah.
Alhamdulillah.
Phone lines are working. 412-567-3030.
Alhamdulillah. You hang that up. Don't be shy. We're here to have a conversation. We're here to, learn from one another, enlighten one another. Alhamdulillah. To be better, not worse. To be better than we were before. To be better now and then some. Inshallah. Alhamdulillah, we're back again. Alhamdulillah. Before you, alhamdulillah, we thank Allah for blessing us. Things have changed, or things are happening all the time. I had some family issues that was unexpected, and I had to make a quick trip to New York in like a matter of 24 hours. When I got back, I had to wash a sister's body. Please make dua for her. I didn't know her. I usually don't know the sisters that I wash and prepare for their burial, but alhamdulillah, they're a sister regardless. But I just ask everyone to make dua for the sister and ask Allah to forgive her of all her sins, and to ask Allah to grant her the highest station in Jannah. And inshallah, Allah will grant us the same or more, inshallah. 412-567-3030. 412-567-3030 is the telephone number.
Save that number too. That number never changes. Anytime we come on air, You want to call in the show, you don't want to type, you can dial that number, inshallah.
Inshallah. Alhamdulillah.
And if you try to call and there's something wrong with the number, let us know, inshallah. Wa yakum, alhamdulillah.
Alhamdulillah. I mean, alhamdulillah.
So what's been going on?
So what's been going on?
Yeah.
A lot of things is going on. The new health care bill. Everybody is up in arms about. There shouldn't be any surprise about that or anything that has anything to do with number 45, as he has mentioned.
Mm-hmm.
But it just shows that we just need to stop worrying and start tying your camel. That's what that means. There's certain things that you cannot help, have no control over. But the things that you have control over, make sure you handle your business. Now, this should be a wake-up call. This should be a reminder. This should be a reality check that we supposed to be already. And this is not anything against anyone that have issues already, health issues that they were born with. I'm not saying that. I'm saying those that on purpose, intentionally eat unhealthy. I'm talking to ones that intentionally, I'm going to say that again, intentionally put that Snicker bar in their mouth. Eat all that Chinese food, pizza, all the greasy, cheesy stuff that they can find, knowing that it is not beneficial to them. That's the people that I'm talking to.
Like yourself.
Shut up. Yes, monitor myself first. We got to eat better. We got to do better. Because all sicknesses come from the stomach because of what we eat.
That's actually mentioned in a narration of Tib Nabi, the medicine of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. I think the one written by Imam Suyuti on the authority of Ali ibn Abi Talib. Karamallahu wajhu, may Allah ennoble his face.
Ameen.
The majority of sicknesses originate in the button, in the stomach.
In the stomach. So we got to do better. We got to drink more water. Leave the Pepsi alone, sister. I'm not going to call you out. She know who she is. Don't even say it. Don't even say it.
Well, I'm cool. I drink Coca-Cola.
Leave the Pepsi alone. Leave all these soft drinks. It's a lot of stuff that's messing up our stomachs. Some of us are suffering from... I ain't say that, but anyway. They'll be calling people out, Fatima. She said me.
Alhamdulillah.
Yeah, we got to do better, people. I want us to live long lives. There used to be a time that our grandparents, great-grandparents, I know in my family, on my mother's side, they lived for years, like 100 years, 80, 90. And we here now.
Was that the women or the women and the men in your family?
To be honest, it seemed like it was more women that was living more. Mm-hmm. But now you finding people dying at 20, 30, 40, 50, 60. Like,
not only that, teenagers having heart attacks.
Yes, right. The young adults, it's not the same. So we have to make a plan. We have to take care of our bodies more consciously. We need to pay attention to what we eat, and we should eat consciously. When we're eating, first of all, you're not supposed to be eating to get full. The purpose of eating is to have enough strength to worship Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. That's how we should be eating. A lot of us, we eat just to satisfy ourselves. And that's why we eat. It had nothing to do with worship, nothing to do to have any energy or anything like that. Okay, we got a call. I'm going to bring you up. Hold on. Okay.
Hello, who's calling? Did they hang up?
Yeah, hung up. Call back again. The person that was just calling in, you can call back in. I think my computer froze. Let me close some of these windows. But yeah, so we need to be eating with a purpose. Everything that we do as Muslims should be for a purpose. It's not just what is it?
Haphazard.
Haphazardly, just to be doing it. Everything should be a purpose to it. We have to also stop letting the doctor give us these medicine that does more damage than good. Girl, you ain't lying.
Facts.
Facts.
You know how they say facts.
Facts.
Or how us Muslims say haqq.
Yeah. That's haqq.
Because, for real, because they give you these medicines, and I don't know how anybody, especially if the medicine is advertised on a TV station, on a television, I don't know how anybody could take these medicines after you hear the advertisement. Because they'll tell you something like this medication is, to stop you from having migraines. And then at the end of the commercial, where possible side effects are death, headaches, vomiting, loss of appetite. I'm like, wait a minute.
Rashes.
It's going to stop me from having migraines, but it's going to give me a headache, and it could cause death. And they literally say it.
Yeah.
I'm like, subhanAllah, you're going to take this medicine? You're going to, okay, I want to stop having these migraines, but, the side effect could be death. Okay, I'm cool with that. That's crazy.
SubhanAllah, yeah. And some people.
And so these medicines, everybody that I know take medicines. They all say the same thing. They take your medication for this, and once they take medication for this or that particular disease or ailment, they have to take another medication for the side effects of the medication that they're taking. And then it never goes on. It's like an isnad. Then they have to take another medication to deal with the side effects of the second medication that they're taking. And then because the first medication and the second medication, they don't interact together good with each other, so they have to take a fourth medication. It just never stops. And before you know, you have a whole medicine cabinet full of medications. Be like our grandparents used to be when they're older, how they have the little thing, and they have like the Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and they have the medicine in it.
Right.
You'd be like 20 years old like that, have medication for each day of the week and different times. It's crazy.
Yeah, SubhanAllah. Alhamdulillah, I have a 90-year-old customer who still does everything like myself, and asked her the secret. She looked on my desk and said, get rid of the Pepsi.
Allahu Akbar.
Yes, look at the side effects. Yes, ma'am, it goes on and on. Yeah, so we have to do better. So we got to stop making excuses. We got to get active. We got to walk more. One tip that someone taught me that I haven't practiced myself, I need to practice what I preach. She goes to the shopping store. Well, she goes to the store. Say she going to Giant Eagle, Food Lion, Pathmark, whatever's over there where you at, ShopRite. She said park further away from the door so that you can walk. And that will be your exercise, going and coming. That'll be an excuse for you to walk. Some of us, we want to get close to the door. Look for that parking spot that's right there so you ain't going to move. But no, you park it further away from the door so you can get your exercise. And you want to keep your body, your blood circulating.
And that's another reason why, like, for example, when I go to places like Gambia, I'm in Africa, and when you do research, a lot of those African countries that's not as modernized as a lot of our countries, they have traditional diets. And they're known for having some of the, healthiest diets and low rates of disease and all that kind of stuff. So when I'm there, people, a lot of times they assume that you want to eat what you eat back at home. Like, we got French fries and we got pizza. I don't want to eat that stuff. I get that every day at home. I mean, that's not special for me. Right. I want to eat what y'all eat.
Right. SubhanAllah.
And I have to emphasize that. So any of my brothers and sisters from Gambia listening, that, I don't want to eat. I can get pizza here all the time. I get French fries here all the time. I don't want to eat that. I want to eat what you eat. Because in my mind, when I'm in places like that, I'm detoxing. Because I feel like here, like you're being attacked. Like they're literally attacking you. They're waging war on the population here. They're attacking you by the food, because the food ain't food no more. The food is genetically modified. There's stuff in the food, in the water, that's prohibited and outlawed in many other countries. They know that these things cause cancer, but it's still in the water. It's still in the food, and they allow us to eat it. And the natural food that's healthy, that doesn't go through as much of the processing and everything like that, those are the foods that cost the most. So you got to be rich just to eat healthy. And you would think, if you use your logic, that, okay, this food right here goes through all of this process, it goes through all of these factories, it has all of these people have their hands on it to get that product to your plate. But this natural thing, it just came off the ground and into the store and into the plate. It should be cheaper, right? No, because they subsidize the unhealthy stuff. In other words, the government puts money into the making of these healthy things, these unhealthy things, to make it cheaper for the person to sell it to you. While the healthy things, they don't subsidize it, and it costs more for you to eat these things. So, and so the deck is stacked against us to eat these things that are not healthy, that are harmful to us, harmful to our own unborn children, and not eat healthy. So, that's why, again, I prefer to, when I go to places like that, I want to eat what you eat. Even if I'm not used to it yet, I want to get used to it, because it's better than what we have here, because the food that we have here ain't food no more. When I go into a supermarket, the food don't even look the same as it looked when I grew up. Like when I was younger, growing up, a cucumber will be like smaller than this piece of paper right here. But now you go in a supermarket, cucumbers like this big. Like, how you get that big? It's genetically modified. Tomatoes are perfectly red. I mean, all of this stuff, alhamdulillah, it's not natural. Alhamdulillah. So, alhamdulillah, my little tangent about
yeah,
food.
so let me jump in before we jump in. So we're coming upon Ramadan, and we know that as Muslims, some of you may be new Muslims, and this may be your first Ramadan coming up, and some of us may be seasoned. And what I found personally, and through research, the meal that we take in the morning is called sahur.
Mm-hmm.
And so we need to ensure that food that we eat is healthy. Please avoid the greasy bacon and sausage and all that greasy stuff in the morning time. Like, it's not going to benefit you throughout the day. You're going to run yourself down. Your body is not going to function as it should, because that's your only meal for the day. So let's avoid those greasy foods, the sugary foods. Eat something more healthy. I know it's tempting to make all the stacks of pancakes and the sausage and the this and that and other. But think about what it's doing to your body, that your body is only relying on this food for the whole day. And we know now, the fasting day hours is almost like 12 hours, a little more than 12 hours. If not 12 hours, going on 12 hours or more. So that one meal is supposed to last you. So make sure it has ingredients, nutrition in it that your body will appreciate and break down appropriately.
Right.
Okay, so that's my one tip for you guys. So let's get into the show.
What else is going on?
There's a lot going on, but let's get to the show, inshallah.
Alhamdulillah. Today I was listening to an interview on NPR on a program called Fresh Air. Mm-hmm. And the person that was being interviewed was Gabriella Sidibe. You may know her. She was the protagonist or the main person in the movie Precious. And I don't watch the show, but I hear that she's in Empire as well. Y'all don't know who I'm talking about. I'm trying to find a picture to show y'all.
Yeah, I know who Precious is.
She apparently has a book that's out, and she's promoting her book. So I believe that's the main reason why she was on Fresh Air today. Mm-hmm. And what made me really perk up and listen and pay attention, because I was working while the show was on, so I really missed a lot of it. But then I turned around and listened to it again. What made my ears stand up, you know how you have a dog, and when the dog starts to pay attention, his ears stand up. Well, if I was a dog, my ears would stand up like that, because it was mentioned in the introduction that her mother is African American from the South, and her father is from Senegal. If you know anything about West Africa, Senegal, and like I've been in Gambia, it's like the same thing. The same. Their population estimates range from like 95 to 99% Muslim. So my mind like, and she was born and raised in Brooklyn. So I was very interested in hearing the story. Can you share the link for that podcast?
Mm-hmm.
We can put it in the Mixler as well as the Facebook.
Okay. Her book is "This Is Just My Face," and it says "Try not to stare at." Try not to stare. That's her new book that she came out.
Wa alaikum salam, Abdul Majid. Alhamdulillah on Mixler. Alhamdulillah. So that's what made me. I'm trying to listen. If she was, if her father was Muslim, was she raised as a Muslim? This is what I'm listening out for. And ironically, that part of the show I actually missed, and I had to come back and listen to hear that part. Alhamdulillah. What were your impressions of the interview?
Well, this is my first time actually hearing her speak, and it just gave me a clearer perspective regarding her, because I did see the movie Precious. I only saw it one time. It was so
depressing.
Yeah, it was just, the movie was so depressing. I couldn't see it a second time. So whenever I saw it that one time, that's it. I never went back to say, I got to watch that movie again. And so the way she was describing how they was trying to cast this, find, someone to fit this this role, and she was saying how, originally her mother, her birth mother was sought out.
Her real mother.
Yeah, her real birth mother was sought out to be her mother, be the mother on Precious. I forgot what the character is that Monique plays.
Right.
But her mother was supposed to be the mother. It was ironic that she played the daughter, but her mother was going to be, she was sought after, but she turned it down. And then she went on to talk about, how they was trying to, they did a casting call, going to McDonald's, going to different places looking for a 350-pound, black girl. And they were even trying to train these women to be that part, but they couldn't be the part. But then it was realized that they would be exploiting if this person actually had issues as the one that was portrayed in the film. And so the director was glad to have, Gabourey as the one to fill the position. But it gave me she opened my eyes to a whole lot. One thing that I wanted to mention, and I know you wanted to get into that, is how she met her father.
Uh-huh.
Her mother met her father. Well, you mentioned that her father's from Senegal, so apparently he was here in the United States, probably on a visa, and somehow...
Yeah, he was a taxi driver.
Right, taxi driver. They crossed paths. He was like, hey, I'll give you $4,000 for a green card. And her mother, agreed to this arrangement.
And when I listened to that part, I got a feeling that, Gabby, I kind of feel like she sanitized that part, maybe to make her mother look good. Mm-hmm. Because, and Allah knows best, I don't know them. I don't know the mother or the father, whatever. But she said that they had already knew each other. Mm-hmm. And as you said, her father offered her mother $4,000 to marry her, like on paper, for a green card. And that she already liked him anyway. Mm-hmm. And that she said she didn't take the money. They fell in love and they marry. Personally, I don't believe that. Gabby, I think you're full of malarkey. I don't believe that. I believe she took that money.
Wow. But it also made me think, like, how often does this happen that strangers just get married for a green card? And regarding marriage, marriage is a sacred thing. Like, to marry just for a card, just somebody can to come to a certain country. I don't agree with that.
I don't agree with it either.
Yeah.
I believe it's deception, and you may be thinking that, we're not deceiving each other. We both know why we're doing it. We just deceiving the government or whatever like that. I think that's problematic on many levels. I think it's problematic because, number one, you making a backwoods hijrah.
Mm-hmm.
You making hijrah from the lands of Islam, the lands of the Muslims, to the lands of disbelief. So that's backwards.
Mm-hmm.
The Prophet Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam wasn't in a place like Medina where Islam was established and, back up. Mecca, it's the center of trade and business, and they got the caravans, they got the Hajj popping off. Let's make hijrah backwards to Mecca. No, you make hijrah from a non-Islamic situation to an Islamic situation. You don't make hijrah backwards. So I think, number one, that's the problem. And then you're going to lie on top of it to achieve that problem.
Right. And he's Muslim.
Yeah, she said he's Muslim.
Yep, he's Muslim. No one going into this. So, like you said, she probably sanitized the whole situation. And then she said that he took them back to Senegal to meet the family. And they fell in love and then all that stuff. But something else came out of that.
But before you go further, she mentioned that she used to pray with her dad. Like, I think she mentioned she was around 5 years old.
Yeah,
she had her own little prayer rug.
And her brother's name Ahmed.
Her brother's name Ahmed.
Mm-hmm.
And she mentioned that she remembers being in Senegal, and they used to live near the masjid, and she used to hear the adhan being called, and she thought it was beautiful and everything like that. So.
But what's so interesting though? Like I said, it's my first time hearing her in an interview. I never heard her mention her having any relation close to Islam. Like her father was Muslim. Like that was never put out there like that when she first came out. You know how Islam is under attack right now. Mm-hmm. That movie came out in 2009. That's 8 years ago.
Yeah.
But you never heard about her father. I just heard her father now. And I'm wondering if she even brought it up. She probably did bring it up. She did mention it. But they didn't really put that in the, forefront as her having this Muslim father, a black father in her life.
Yeah, they pay more attention to her mother because her mother used to sing in the subway.
She's still singing in the subway.
Singing in the subway.
Yeah, still singing in the subway.
Right.
So all my New York people, if y'all go to the 34th Street, maybe you might see her mother out there singing her, let me show, singing.
So they emphasize the mother more. Now, I don't know if that was just, Terry Gross, the one who was interviewing her. Mm-hmm. To me, it seemed like the father in Islam in general got played down in the interview. Mm-hmm. And the mother was played up a little bit more. I don't know if she gave her father more attention in the book. I don't know. What was I about to say? Look at my head. Tell me what I was about to say. I lost my train of thought. But what was I about to say?
I don't know.
Yeah.
But she mentioned she was a Brooklynite. Yeah, she's from my hood. She's from Bed-Stuy. She didn't mention what street she lived on. But yeah, she was from my hood, mashallah. What you was about to say?
I don't know. I told you, look at my head. Tell me what I'm about to say. I don't know. They even though. When they did talk about the father in the interview, they restricted the Islam part to those one few seconds when she mentioned what we already have mentioned here about growing up, whatever. They played up the African part, downplayed the Islamic part, and
focus on his discipline.
They made it like a cultural thing because there's something that happened that we didn't mention yet, which caused the breakup of her family.
Right.
Because.
Oh, we got another caller. Let me call.
Breakup of her family.
Right.
Because.
Oh, we got another caller. You're listening to you just called into the Half Your Dean show. Do you have a comment or question?
Who's calling and where you calling from?
You just called into the Half Your Dean show.
Assalamu alaikum. This is Sophia from Los Angeles.
Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullah.
Assalamualaikum. This is Sophia from.
Well, we got a lot of echo going on.
I know. Hold on. Give me one moment, sis. I'm not sure why it's all the echo. Hold on, let me see something. Give me one moment. Hello, sis. Can you hear me? I might have to have. Oh yeah, I gotta put it on. Hello.
Hello, I can hear you.
Okay. You have a comment or question?
No, I just called in.
Oh, this is not this we. Oh, let me explain. We used to be on Blog Talk Radio, and it was based on the telephone lines. You would need to listen through the Mixler app, or you can listen on Facebook Live. Right.
Oh, okay. So let me. Okay.
Okay.
So you all already had the live.
Right. We have the live up. Yes, under Naeem Abdullah or Hobbs Baraka.
Okay.
Okay. All right. Assalamu alaikum.
Walaikum salam.
Alhamdulillah. Just a reminder, our call-in number is strictly for comments, questions, suggestions. Unlike the Blog Talk platform, everything is done through the phone, taking calls as well as the show. This is a little different here. So either download the Mixer app, or you can join us on Facebook Live. Alhamdulillah.
Did you put the link for the mix? I'll do it.
You said the father. You said the father. What are you talking about, Hen?
No, because she was trying to remind me what I was talking about.
Oh, you said the father. Okay.
Yeah.
Yes, but what they focus on, in addition to what you are about to mention, they was focusing on his discipline. Like he was, like I can vouch for this. Here, living in the United States, you can't just let your children just run outside and play and not be afraid for their, well-being.
Safety.
Their safety and well-being. Bullets flying, all types of stuff. Got the cops. You got all types of stuff that you have to worry about regarding your children. It's not just adults now. It's our children that's under attack. But she was describing how her father was very protective. Like if she wanted to check the mailbox in her house, they had like a regimen. Like she couldn't use the stairwell to go downstairs. She had to use the elevator. And she had to announce to her father while she got on the elevator, because you couldn't see her get on the elevator. And then he would give her time to get downstairs, check the mailbox, and come straight up. And so she said when she did that and got back on the elevator to come back up, she would yell, say, "I'm here, I'm back." And you're like, okay, come inside. And so she had also went on and said that her parents disciplined her. They used to get beat. She's like, that's what black folks used to do. They used to beat their children. But she said, I didn't consider it abuse. Yeah, other people said you was abused. She's like, no, it wasn't like that.
None of us, people in our generation, none of us consider that abuse.
Right. And so it was more so that...
And some of us were abused and we didn't consider it abuse. Ask most black people, ask them what a switch is. They know exactly what a switch is. But even that we didn't consider abuse. Right. Now you tell a child stand in a corner, that's abuse.
That's abuse, right. So she was just describing how her father was very strict, but it was more so, he's not from here in America. He came from a place where, the kids are carefree. It's no, threat of an imminent danger if you leave your door open. Who would leave their door open here in the United States? Anywhere, any part of the United States. What you leave your front door open or just leave it unlocked? Nobody in their right mind. I don't care if you live in a cul-de-sac. I don't care if you live on a plot of land where there's no more houses. I'm gonna lock my doors unless you're on an island by yourself. But they was focusing on that, and then describing the relationship, because she said they was like foreigners to her father. Like he didn't know them and they didn't know him. It was like, like a culture shock. Mm-hmm. But go ahead and get into the part that you wanted to mention.
Don't rush me to get into the part I want to get into. Because you try to eat. Because you try to eat, that's why.
I'm trying to jump it. Well, I fasted today, so I got to get my...
Alhamdulillah. The part one of the parts that struck me, which I probably didn't mention to you, is because I don't know, her brother or anything like that. I don't even know her for real. But just looking at her and the mother and the father, I'm saying to myself, like, wow. Like, how can I say? A lot of us, I don't think that we think as deep or as long and hard as we should think before we get married, because any halfway decent Muslim father, let me back up. Let me put it like this. Any halfway decent man who's trying to live decent wants their child or children to be like them, or even better. Even if you're not Muslim. If you think Christianity is the truth, right? And you have children, you want your children to be Christian like you, right?
Right.
Would you marry an atheist and hope for that same outcome? Think about it. We don't think about this, but how many people do that? Somebody that believes in Jesus Christ as their Lord and Savior, if they're really thinking about their children, they really think they're on the truth, and they're really trying to replicate themselves or raise righteous children in their mindset, you will marry someone who is on the same page as you.
Right.
So the upbringing and the tarbiyah, the guidance, the growing, the rearing, is not only coming from you, it's coming from the mother. And especially from a man's perspective, because 9 times out of 10, the woman is going to spend more time with the child than the man is.
Right.
So even from somebody that's not Muslim, that thinks that they're living right, and they marry somebody, you would think that we would think long and hard about who we're going to marry. In this situation, this Muslim man, this Muslim brother from Senegal, he came to America and married a non-Muslim woman.
Right.
And had children. And what, according to her, what made the family break up is that he had a wife back in Senegal.
Wife and children.
Wife and children. And it was his cousin.
Right.
And that's the part that they play like it was African culture or whatever. So then the mother found out about it. Gabby's mother found out about it. And that's what caused, I guess she didn't get into details, but basically that's what led to the breakup of their family. And so I'm saying to myself, like, wow, this is real common.
Right.
And the sisters can speak to it better than the brothers. You sisters that's listening on Mixler or Facebook, talk to us or even call in. Let you how many brothers approach you for marriage just for a green card?
Right, in your inbox, in your messages, and I like
Or how many women that's not even Muslim that get approached by Muslim brothers wanting marriage just for the green card. And this is deep if you think about it, because I don't know if you was there, but I know you heard about it. Back in Philly, we had Brother Sheikh out to teach. I forgot what subject he was teaching on in the masjid. But somebody asked him a question about brothers committing zina, fornication, adultery, with non-Muslim women. From a fiqh perspective, because they say he's a child of the bed, so the child is attributed to the mother because the child is a walad zina, a child of fornication, adultery. So technically, legally speaking, from a fiqh perspective, the father don't have to take care of the child. And this is how grimy and slimy some of us are, because you have a child out of wedlock, and you that dirty and low down that you try to find an Islamic excuse to not take care of your child. Right, you want to become an expert in fiqh now. All of a sudden, where was your expert in fiqh when you was in the bed between the sheets? Where was all the fiqh and the madhahib then when you was laying down? You weren't worried about no fiqh. You was worried about the other F word, right? But now you have a child. What's the fiqh on? Right. Come on, that dude's playing games with the deen, right? But the way the sheikh answered it was, I said, subhanallah. I think from that particular sheikh is probably one of the most beneficial things I heard from him. He said, I forgot, I can't even word it the way he worded it, but he said there's something more deeper and dangerous going on than the fiqh of taking care of your child and all that kind of stuff. It's like, these are non-Muslim women. you Muslim brothers is sleeping, cohabitating with these non-Muslim women, and then you're trying to find a way not to take care of the children. What do you think that does for the dawah? What do you think that non-Muslim woman is going to think about Islam?
All Muslim men, they like y'all full of junk. Y'all.
And so, not only that, you hurting the dawah to that non-Muslim woman that you cohabitated with, but you know that in this society, that child is going to be raised by the mother 9 times out of 10. How do you think that non-Muslim mother is going to raise that child?
Right. Not as a Muslim.
So you weren't, he would say, you weren't about trying to save a couple of dollars. You have something deeper going on about Aqidah, about you promoting the growing of kufr. Like you having children with these women, and you hurting the dawah by number one, by sleeping with these women, and they know it's haram. The kafir, they know it's haram.
Yeah, and you know too.
And then you follow up the haram by saying, well, Islamically, see, you don't know the see, in Islam we got this thing called fiqh, right? And according to the fiqh, this is like our law and our legal code because we wasn't married, right? Can't you imagine doing this?
I can see some brothers try kicking that. And how many brothers out there got babies out here with non-Muslims and Muslims? It ain't even got to be non-Muslim.
Right.
With these Muslim sisters, they refuse to get married. Do it the proper way. How many babies is out here?
Exactly. Being raised as disbelievers, being taught to hate Islam because you didn't want to get married.
You ain't want to do it in an honorable fashion.
And the deep thing about it is, I'm pretty sure, because the standards are real low now.
Right.
Right? The standards are real low. Women are sleeping with some dusty dudes. Like, I mean, dudes is begging their way into women's bedroom, and then women would let them in. Right? Please, can I have sex with you? Please, please. And they let them in. This is
all right.
Yeah, all right, come on.
This is one time. Come on.
Don't stop bugging me, right? This is the time period we live in, right? So the standards are extremely low. Even this is my logic. I could be wrong. Somebody correct me. But if a brother slipped up and committed zina with a non-Muslim girl or woman, and then she became pregnant, I think she would have some respect for him by saying, listen, I was wrong for what I did. You probably don't think it's nothing because, everybody's doing it, but I know I shouldn't have been with you. Now we have a child. Invite them to Islam. Take care of the children. Do the right thing.
Right.
Even though, technically, I'm not supposed to be, I don't have to take care of this child, but, I'm going to take care of the child. Right?
Right.
Come like that, be straight up. I'm pretty sure that a halfway decent person will respect that.
You say you're going to do the deed and then be absolved of the responsibility of that deed that you then put in place. Nah, it ain't going to happen like that.
And so, I'm relating this to, this interview is because, like, in my mind, I'm saying to myself, like, I wonder what this brother was thinking when he married this non-Muslim woman,
knowing he had a wife already and children back in Senegal, because they was already in place. It wasn't like he did it after the fact.
Right.
So he already had a family back. And just imagine, he came here to America, already had a family at home, and more than likely he didn't even tell his wife there that he was going to come over here and get married and what have you. Or she might know that he wanted. Well, you got the games now that he married the sister in Senegal. He come to America, get his green card, so that he can bring his wife over here too. Because now he'll be a citizen, right?
Right.
So there's a game that's going on now.
Right.
So deception. So that could be possible. She probably already know. Like, get that green card, baby.
Yeah. I know you gotta do what you gotta do.
You gotta do what you gotta do.
You know how your women be. But did you love her?
Yeah, I don't love her. That's all I say. I don't love her. SubhanAllah.
So that's what, to me, that's what, that's the part that stuck out to me And, you know, I don't know how long. I don't know. Obviously, this is an interview. You don't know all the details.
Right.
But, you know, in this society, a woman is more accepting of a girlfriend than she is another wife. Even Muslim women that's been brought up and raised over here, they'll tolerate a husband cheating. Yes?
Nice water.
They'll tolerate their Muslim husband cheating or committing zina, fornication, but a lot of our sisters, like, they just can't handle their husbands marrying another wife, and so, you know, mashallah, that's the part that hit home for me. But once I heard that interview begin, and it dawned on me, I said, "Whoa, father from Senegal, he's Muslim."
Right.
I said, I want to hear this part. And so, you know, alhamdulillah. What other parts stuck out to you?
Other parts. She was talking about, you know, we know that she's a big girl. She's really, really big. And she was saying that her parents' breakup affected her personally,
Mm-hmm.
you know, being who she was. And she was like, she noticed that she was big at 6 years old. Like, something was different about her.
Right.
Like, she wasn't just like any other child. And so when her parents broke up, that was like a load that fell on her. And then when she went to school, you know how kids are so cruel. Kids are so cruel. They worse now because kids is just
kids is worse
unrelenting.
now.
They're unrelenting. They'll just keep going and going and going. They don't know when to stop. Especially they know that they're having an effect. They'll keep going. And that's what she described. Like, she said she would cry for hours. Somebody would say something to her.
Yeah.
SubhanAllah, like, she really had a hard time where she was having anxiety attacks.
And everybody's not built the same. Because I remember I used to get made fun of when I was little, but then that to me that was training at the time. Because when I got a certain age, I would be the one making fun of people.
Mm-hmm.
But just think about it. Now you got social media, so people just not making fun of you in person.
Mm-hmm.
That mockery is carrying over to social media.
Right.
And even with adults, you see, you know, like when somebody says something, everybody has to pile on and say their stuff. Just imagine, you know, yeah, you're fat. Oh, yeah, you're fat. Oh, you're super fat. You're beyond fat. Just imagine. It'll never stop. You know. Mm-hmm. By the way, the next day, 2 days later, did I tell you that you're fat? I mean, it will just never stop. And so, she says she recognized that she was. She suffered from
depression and anxiety.
Yeah,
and
she said she has to have panic attacks.
Yeah, so she started seeing a therapist, and she recommend that because people, you know, are in denial about people being, you know, depressed and going through stuff. Like, even though she didn't live a precious life, she didn't live a life like Precious. She didn't grow up, and her father wasn't, you know, violating her. She had other issues that was going on with her. And so anybody that have issues going on with them and people around her are not being consoling or loving or accepting of it, it's hard to be you. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? Because the standards here is you got to be this big, right? Mm-hmm. Right? That big. You know, you got to meet a certain criteria in beauty. You beautiful regardless. But, you know, anyway.
She reminded me. What you about to say?
Go ahead.
She reminded me of my childhood. When I was in kindergarten, there was a girl named so-and-so. She was fat. And everybody used to make fun of her. And I was one of them. And it was just normal. Like, I didn't think I was being cruel. I was just...
Give me a hand.
I didn't think I was being cruel, just make fun of her. I mean, this is what everybody did. And I didn't, like, go on and on and on about it, but it just...
That wasn't
from
nice.
Thinking from her perspective, if we're in a class of 25 people and 10 people do it every day, that's a lot, right?
Yeah, that's a lot.
But I remember I used to make fun of her. Her name was so-and-so. I still remember her name. Years later in high school, everybody around the way was talking about this fly-looking girl. And the name was so-and-so. And I'm like... Wait a minute. Now, I ain't seen or spoke or heard from this person since kindergarten. But I knew she lived around the way, and you kind of, in your neighborhood, you kind of know who's who, right? This is Queens, New York, by the way. So I'm like, wait a minute. And I had a general description of her in my mind. They say, yeah, she worked at so-and-so's store. It was one of the stores, and anybody from Queens, Green Acres Mall, So, Green Acres. We went to the store. I think it was Macy's, one of those stores.
Right.
And went in there, and I was like, that looks like her. And so, I just went, I went up to her. I wasn't trying to rap to her or nothing like that, right? But I was like, how you doing? She's like, all right. I was like, your name such and such? Yeah. You used to go to such and so-and-so school? Yeah. I said, we used to go to kindergarten together. Then she looked at me, she said, you made my life hell. Growing up in kindergarten. I said, oh, sorry. But it was funny because that kindergarten, I forgot what grade I was in. It was probably 16, 17 years old. So 10 years? In the span of 10 years, she went from somebody that everybody making fun of to somebody that everybody tried to get with. I had enough foresight, enough, whatever you want to call it. I wasn't going to try to rap to her. But it just, everybody was talking about her. And so, and this particular girl will be considered light-skinned. Right? Gabby got something else added to it. She's dark-skinned. And black people don't even like dark-skinned people. Right?
That's true.
And so she had it double. Subhanallah. So.
But you know what that remind me of the hadith where Allah says, where the Prophet ﷺ said that Allah does not look at your figures.
Right.
Nor at your attire, like what you're wearing, but he looks at your hearts, which is, the deeds that you perform. Now, correct me if I'm wrong. This is not saying I don't have to wear hijab. As long as Islam is in my heart, I'm cool.
Right.
I'm doing that's not what that is saying. Right? It's saying that Allah's not looking at our bodies. He's not looking at our coverings, but what's under it. Our hearts, what we do, our intentions. How do we perform our ibadah? How do we treat people? How do this, that, and the other? Along with obeying him through dress and all that stuff.
Right.
Right?
Right.
Right?
Right.
So let's not get it twisted, because I've seen people interpret it as, I don't have to wear hijab, I don't have to cover my face, I don't have to wear kimar, I don't have to wear abaya, I could just have on jeans and a kimar and whatever I'm wearing, as long as it's covering my skin. It could be tight as I don't know what.
Anybody that come away with that false understanding is somebody that just catering to their nafs. Because why would Allah tell you to dress certain way or not to wear something or to cover at least such and so-and-so? Why would the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam enforce that and then tell you he don't care about it? So obviously the hadith don't mean that.
Right.
And a lot of people do that. They look at certain ayahs of Quran or hadith in isolation of everything else. What Allah is saying is that the most important thing to him is your heart.
Right.
And it's funny that you mentioned it because it's one of the hadith that I learned from one of my teachers, Imam Siraj.
MashaAllah.
It's a beautiful hadith.
MashaAllah. So, with her having issues with her body, that didn't change who she was as a person.
Right.
You understand? She has weight, but she still had a heart. She has feelings. She's a human being.
Right.
And we forget that when you see that outer shell, that this person is a human being. You start treating them like they some object or some type of, a thing. Like black people. When we were slaves, we weren't looked at as human beings, even though we had legs and arms and a head and face and mouth and all that stuff. We was looked at as cattle. We were looked at as some type of tool. We would look at some type of item that is going to help them to, to fulfill a certain objection, which was what?
Objective.
Objective, which was to what? to plow them fields, pick that cotton, whatever. You understand?
We're still looked at the same way.
Subhanallah.
Because they substantiate it with their pseudoscience. Like right now, do you know that right now, according to them, black people don't feel pain the same way white people feel pain, according to them.
Wow.
You talk to anybody who's studying medicine. I forget, I'm not into medicine. But anybody that's studying medicine or getting into this field, they've been speaking about it. They say they created the lie that black people can withstand more pain than white people, and this grew out of slavery. Like you can work them to death because they ain't gonna feel it like you would feel it. That's where it came from.
Subhanallah.
So they make up a lie and they make up their bootleg science to support their lie to justify the way they treat other people, etc.
So, the other thing that I wanted to mention or continue on with the conversation was what she did as what was she doing for a living before she had before she got the role as Precious. What was her?
Hen substantiated that.
Yes, black people are able to withstand 9 times more pain than whites.
Yeah, they even got a figure 9 times.
9 times. What was her 9 to 5 before she became Precious?
She's a phone sex operator.
A phone sex operator.
Yeah.
Yes. She said this helped her practice for the role of Precious because she had to speak a certain way on the phone to get paid. Now, when you think of, she was saying, when you think of phone sex operator, you thinking you on there to make sure that the person on the other end gets off. And she said it was nothing like that. You just have conversations. But these conversations, which was tripping me out, how she was describing it, was white men were calling in wanting to speak to white women. But what was the funny thing about that?
The funny thing about it is, that number one, she herself is black, and she had to make, her little phone sex name. Wasn't a Melody or something like that? And not only that she was black, I'm laughing because not only is she not what you would think as far as being white,
right?
But she's black, and not only she's black, she's dark skinned black, and not only she's slim or whatever these guys think they talk to, but she's big,
real big,
right? So I start cracking up like only if you knew who you was jacking off to, right?
Oh, who you was talking to,
right?
And she
and not only that, she said that the companies that they work for are 90% owned by plus size black women.
Wow. Wow. So she was just flexing her voice like how she would talk to certain dudes, like she would talk like she was just saying the different roles. I'm not even gonna go into that. But she was just saying how she explained that you think you're talking to Megan Fox, but you're talking to Precious. Look how dope and fierce and amazing and smart and genius we are to fool you into thinking that we're the opposite. So you'll never know who you're talking to.
Yeah.
You on the phone, you in the inbox on Facebook. So now you messaging the phone messenger. Salam alaikum. Walaikum salam. You don't know who you talking to. Well, they might have a profile pic, but it might be a fake profile pic.
Yeah.
But she was just saying how she had to keep them on the phone. That was the only way she can get paid. And she had the white voice.
Because you pay by the minute.
Right, by the minute. She had the white voice. And that was the only way they would get the job if they had a white voice. That's who they wanted to call in. That's who the customers wanted to speak to. So you was not going to get a job talking like Shaniqua. Yeah. You're going to get a job talking like Becky. How are you doing? Or however, I don't even know how to go there, but it was just amazing how she was just saying how, excuse me, how being at that job, she had to be opposite of who she was. And it was just like, she know what she looked like, she know who she is, but yet she's portraying someone that everybody thinks is, the catch, and she was opposite of that. And I know that was kind of like contradicting on her part because she was struggling at one point with her weight and things like that. So, subhanAllah. You love yourself regardless, whether you're big or small or what have you, you know, like, you don't make fun of big people. Because you never know what trials or, they're going through. They may have a health issue that, that makes them have weight like that. It may be something that they can't control and stuff like that. So we got to be careful how we treat people.
Exactly.
SubhanAllah.
And again, because this show is primarily, we like to talk about primarily marriage and those related issues. I want you, all of you who are listening to this show.
Right, thyroid issues. Right, exactly.
Whether you're listening now or you're going to, catch the podcast on either Facebook or our YouTube channel, just think, your child could be precious. Mm-hmm. What do I mean by can be precious? The way she looked? No, I'm not talking about that. Who she is. She don't claim to be Muslim. Mm-hmm. Her father's Muslim, though. Mm-hmm. She used to pray with her father. She mentioned, as a little girl, you know how your little child come pray with you? Mm-hmm.
She's so cute.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. She's a prayer, but she don't identify as Muslim. No. And so we need to think about this when we get married. Those of us, like myself, and I'm pretty sure any of us that have children that are older, it's hard enough to raise Muslim children in this country with 2 practicing Muslim parents. How much harder can it be to raise Muslim children if one of the parents ain't Muslim?
SubhanAllah. SubhanAllah.
I mean, I've seen families or children go off if one of the parents is weak or slacking in their deen, and because you have so much pressure going the other way. Socially, it's just easier to be a non-Muslim. Mm-hmm. And so when you have that one parent who may be Muslim but just really lax with it, don't really care, that'll be the parent that they like the most. And if they get divorced or what have you, that'll be the parent they want to live with. And then, the rest of the story.
Right.
And so that's the way it is with Muslim parents. What about having a non-Muslim parent? And I know we did a show already on marrying non-Muslims, but we more or less talked about the legality or the illegality of it, whether it be haram or halal. We talked about that in depth with proofs on a previous show. But I'm not talking about the being halal or haram right now. I'm just talking about for real. I mean, as a parent, as a Muslim, do you want your child to be Muslim?
Right.
And I know some of you, because a lot of us, we like to dodge around the issue. Only Allah makes Muslims. Like, we'll say something like that.
Right.
But we're not the one who turn. You playing games, you're avoiding the issue.
Right.
The fact is that the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, "Kulu mawludin yuladu ala al-fitra, fa abawahu yuhawidanihi, or yunasiranihi, or yumajisanihi." That each and every child is born upon a fitra, born according to his natural state. Fa'abawahu, therefore it is his parents that make him a Jew, Christian, or fire worshiper. And that fa in that hadith is an atif, is a conjunction, and it's called fa sababiyah. It's a causative fa. In other words, the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam is telling you that the parents have a divine effect in the outcome, primarily the choosing of the deen of their children. Mm-hmm. 9 times out of 10, if a child is growing up in a Muslim household, even if they may deviate here or there, they're going to be Muslim 9 times out of 10, mm-hmm. right? The parents have a hand in it. The Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam said that. Mm-hmm. You may not agree with me. If you want to disagree with the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, that's on you. You take that. Mm-hmm. Some of you have problems accepting the fact that he's the last prophet. And that's in the Quran. So I know we got deep issues, but the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam said that it is the parents that make the child a Jew, Christian, or fire worshiper. Mm-hmm. So you want to dip around it and all that? No. Mm-mm. The reality is we have a responsibility. So we have to choose who we're going to have for our spouses and for our husbands and wives. I think one of the things that we need to think about before we get married is, for example, if you're a brother, good example. Yeah. If you're a brother and you marry a sister or about to marry a sister, ask yourself the question: if I have children with this woman and the child is a girl, would I be satisfied if my daughter comes out just like her?
Mm-hmm.
And vice versa.
Right. SubhanAllah.
If I'm about to marry this brother, if I have a baby and he's a boy, and it turns out just like the father, am I cool with that?
Right. SubhanAllah. Perfect example, the movie Muslim. The half-behind Muslim wife and mother was working against the Muslim father, and they made him look crazy for wanting his family to practice Islam correctly.
Yeah.
Yeah, that movie was on point. SubhanAllah. And it's always, and that reminds me of the Prophet Lut and his wife.
Right.
She went against him. He was a prophet.
Yeah.
And you know, he get his divine laws and instructions from Allah, right? And Allah gave him instructions to take your family and go. Right. And she went against him. Mm-hmm. So somewhere in that relationship, y'all either got to be on the same page or it's not going to work. Y'all can't be on two different paths. And if the brother want to marry a non-Muslim, because Allah allows the brothers to marry a non-Muslim, y'all Muslim brothers need to make sure y'all marrying a woman that's open to take her shahad and become Muslim herself, or is open to raise her children as Muslims and not interfere in that aspect. I don't know who you're going to find that's going to do all that, but that's who you need to find. And you're going to have to do extra work. That's extra work right there. You got a whole bunch of Muslim sisters that you could be marrying, but that's not the point. If you got to have a non-Muslim sister, then make sure she understands that you're a Muslim, you're a practicing Muslim, you adhere to Allah and His Messenger, you adhere to the book, you adhere to the Sunnah. She understand that, even though she may not understand, and she's going to ride with you. She's like, all right, I'm with you. When we have children, they're going to be Muslim too. They're going to dress like Muslims. They're going to grow up like Muslims. I got you. And if she's like that, more than likely than none, she may become Muslim too, because her heart will be open to it. But you got to investigate, like we've been saying in previous shows. You got to make sure you ask questions. Make sure you ask those important questions, like, where do you see yourself? Where are you going? What are you trying to do with your life? We don't ask those questions because we don't care. We just want to get married and be divorced the next day or the next week or the next month and be married again and another, with somebody else. Exactly. It's ridiculous. We don't even come into the relationship with a long-term, commitment. We just say, like, I'm just going to marry her and it is what it is and stuff like that. And you can't have that going into a marrying for a green card.
I think that's what made our marriage different, because we had that conversation.
Right.
Think about it like this. The Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam took Abdullah ibn Umar by the shoulder and offered him some advice. And he said, Kun fi dunya ka'anaka garib aw abir sabil. He said, be in this dunya as if you're a stranger or a traveler on your way. Mm-hmm. Think about what he just said. Wow. Be in this world as if you're a stranger or a traveler on your way. Excuse me. And I want to emphasize the last part. Abir sabil, a traveler making your way. Mm-hmm. And this is why when I talk about doing things or living, or when I'm talking about marriage, or I'm talking about Jamaa'ah, or whatever I'm talking about, I always use the parable of traveling, going to point A, from point A to point B. Mm-hmm. You have to make sure that you and your wife or your future husband, whatever the case is, are trying to go to the same place.
Right.
And saying vague things that we like to say is not going to cut it. What are your goals? What do you hope to establish being Muslim? I just want to go to Jannah. Yeah. We all want to go to Jannah, man. What Muslim says, you know what? I just like to go to hell for a little bit. I just want to see, to increase my iman. I want to go to hell. Nobody says that.
Nobody says that.
Why are you stating the obvious?
Right.
How do you want to get to Jannah? What do you want to do in this life to help you get to Jannah? And some of us real smart. Well, nothing we can do is get us to Jannah. Aki, it's only Allah's mercy. Let's go get us. All right. Some dudes, they want to avoid the question.
Right.
You know what we trying to say, right? What role are you going to play to establish Allah's deen, to whatever it is,
right,
that's going to help you get to Jannah? How are you yourself? What role are you going to take to hopefully get the Jannah?
Mm-hmm.
What is the sabab that Allah is going to use? What is the causative factor that Allah may use that you want to do? What is your path?
Mm-hmm.
What is your vision for yourself?
Right.
And if you can't answer that question for yourself, how are you going to know or determine if your husband and wife, or your future husband or your future wife, is on the same path?
Right.
That's like joyriding. Most of us are joyriding.
Mm-hmm.
We just in the car. What up, yo? We in the hood, playing the same CD. Well,
Yep.
I'm about to say tape. Playing the same YouTube playlist. I don't know, whatever iPod playlist all over, right? Riding around the same hood, driving around the block, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yo, I need gas. Why we go to the gas station? Where we go? You get it? I don't know, right? And a lot of times you ride around with a car full of people in the hood. Y'all ain't going nowhere, and they're cool with that.
Right.
Somebody that's about something, they may like you, y'all grew up together, whatever, and they may joyride with you for 5 or 10 minutes, but your cats is kind of grimy anyway. Police may pull us over. Yo, let me out.
Yeah.
let me get out.
Yeah.
Let me get out, right?
Wow.
Some people in the marriage is like this. Listen, the car look nice. The sound system is pumping in here. You got some snacks in here. It's cool, right? Mm-hmm. Our marriages is a joyride. We just chilling, whatever. And then, yo, this is getting boring. Yo, let me out.
Yeah,
Let's give me a divorce, right? Some of us get bored real quick. Let me get out.
Give me a cola. Give me a cola.
But real people
Mm-hmm.
that are about their deen, that are mature, that car is designed to take you from point A to point B. And for us, we're trying to go to wherever we are in this dunya to a good place in Jannah.
Right.
And we got our GPS, our map on, or whatever it is,
Mm-hmm.
and we've decided that we're going to take this particular road to get us where we're trying to go.
Mm-hmm.
I'm taking this road. You want to ride with me?
Right.
Or is your path in life, your aims and objectives, are they compatible with mine?
Right.
Or if we get in this car together, are you going to have me stopping at every rest stop?
Right.
Just like, some people, they sabotage marriages the same way people sabotage a road trip. Mm-hmm. And if you got children, brothers and sisters, you know exactly what I'm talking about. If you drove, you stop at a rest stop. Okay, everybody wake up. Abby's going to get gas.
All right, go use the bathroom. I ain't got to use the bathroom.
I ain't got to use the bathroom. Yeah. Anybody hungry? No, I'm not hungry.
I'm all right.
As soon as you fill up the gas tank, pull off.
Abby,
I got to go bathroom.
I'm hungry.
I'm hungry. And some people do it purposely.
Mm-hmm.
That's that recalcitrant woman sitting in the passenger seat. No conversation. She ain't going to help you stay up the drive. She not going to warn you when police is laying in the cut. She just all mad to herself, all bad company, and she just want to be a bee. Right? As soon as you pull off, I got to go bathroom. We just left the guy. I asked you. Well, I ain't had to go there. I got to go now. That's how we be, right? And so that's how a lot of us are in marriage.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And then you have some that get married for, I don't know why they get married, but they know they're on two different paths.
Mm-hmm.
And you like setting yourself up on one path, and they setting themselves off on another path with no intentions of getting together. It's just like, okay, when the time is, I'm out. Yeah. When I get where I'm at, I'm out. Like, you shouldn't be in that marriage with that mindset. Like, why is you married? You should be there as a package, as a couple, as a team. Not y'all have y'all separate, teams. You know what I'm saying? Like, you on two different teams. Y'all supposed to be on the same team.
Exactly.
You can't. It's not going to be healthy. It's no good in it. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Because it's not strong. Because you over here and he over here doing his own thing. You're not communicating. What do you expect down the line? It's going to be a breakdown of everything. Because you want to not understand him. He's not going to understand you. And it's what's there left to talk about. Ain't nothing to be talked about.
Exactly.
Because y'all going separate ways. SubhanAllah.
And I can only imagine it was the same situation with her parents. Mm-hmm. Plus, the way I feel with most things, unless unless it's some war or some enemy situation, if you got to keep it a secret, 9 times out of 10 it ain't good. Certain things you have to keep secret. Many things, especially now, well, just in general, but it's even more so now, you may have to keep it secret for a certain amount of time. Because, even our scholars, many of them, like Ali ibn Abi Talib, the Sahabi, radiallahu ta'ala anhu, who said, guarantee or employ the success of your endeavors by employing secrecy. In other words, guarantee that your success with doing things by being secret about it.
Right.
And, I live by that. When I'm trying to accomplish something, especially something that's important, I try to be as secretive as possible. Only people that need to know about it is people that need to know about it. And they may tell people, but I'm not going to go running my mouth about it, because people, they get off on sabotaging what you're trying to do.
Exactly.
And so, but some people just like real secretive, like in this situation, he had a wife, he married somebody else. No, just only according to what she said.
Right.
Because she mentioned that his other wife was his cousin. The most Americans, that's going to gross you out. You married your cousin?
Right.
Right? Some of the most Americans, ew. You married your cousin?
Well, you know what I was thinking, just because it's out there, he brought them out there to Senegal. So how did he work that out, bringing his wife here from America to Senegal with his wife in Senegal there? Did he go sneak over there to the other wife house, or what did he tell the American wife, like, or she was sitting right there and she was just acting like everything was cool?
Maybe he had another part of town. They don't speak no Wolof, right? So he was speaking only Wolof. He probably said in English, "This is my cousin right
here." Right.
They emphasize that because and my wife.
Right. I was just thinking about that, like, wow, how did he pull that off? Because she said they've been there, so it ain't like they didn't get around the family. SubhanAllah.
But again, we don't know the details. Maybe by that time they knew, and then maybe her mom tried to stick around, and after a while said she couldn't take it no more. I don't know.
Yeah.
But
that's something.
But that secretive stuff.
Yeah. That's something you don't keep secret.
When it comes to nikah, marriage, you should not be secret about it. And many people, they go into their fiqh bag again. They try to find an excuse or justification according to the fiqh why, or under a certain abnormal circumstances, why you could keep a marriage secret. Right? And they will find justifications for that.
Right.
But my thing is, how long was you planning on keeping it secret? And did you think about the outcome when the secret finally comes out?
Right.
Because you gotta tell, how many lies you gotta tell to keep that one secret? Where was you at last night? Or I had to work late, and had to do some overtime, and such. Well, why you ain't come home tonight? Well, why do it seem like you always working late or working overtime the same nights every week? Why is it? Well, see, they opened up this new position, and they training me. Well, you said you working overtime, got all this money.
Where's it?
And all this kind of stuff. Why do it seem like you bring in less money home?
Right.
Right. Because you ain't telling that you got to take care of the other family down, right? Right. And so you got to just keep building on a lie, right?
SubhanAllah.
Malik said, I know brothers who don't tell the other wife about the new wife for a few months. Is that haram? I want to say it's haram.
It's considerate.
I would say it's inconsiderate. I would say it's deceptive.
Right, because he probably would already been divorced the sister. Ain't nothing to talk about there. Think about it. He don't say nothing about the sister, so I ain't got to explain nothing. There's only one issue that I know with the Prophet Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. He didn't announce his marriage to Jawariya. Remember, it was just a walima.
You sure it was Jawariya?
I'm not sure. It was one of his wives, but remember, it was at the walima. He didn't say nothing until the walima. He was about to go to the walima.
I don't know. I'm not familiar with that.
You're not familiar with that?
Mm-mm.
Yeah, he was. It was the walima when he said something. He's like, I'm about to go to walima. He about to go. He didn't like announce it, like, you know, made it like public. They didn't know till. No, it was Zaynab or one of them.
You have to inform me out. Malik said it was
Sophia, right. It was one of his wives. But it wasn't like it was a whole long time. It was actually at a gathering.
But I know Aisha knew because when the Prophet ﷺ was actually going to the wedding or at the wedding, Aisha was hiding watches. He said, let me see you, Aisha, come on out. Right? So he didn't announce, like, he didn't say, hey, by the way, I'm going to get married. And also you have to understand the dual purpose of the walima is to make public the marriage.
Right.
So you know, a lot of people don't know that.
Right.
So the purpose of the walima is to make the public announcement of the marriage. But like a lot of people now, it's like marriage is secret, and it's not supposed to be secret. The whole thing about marriage is it needs to be public.
So if being secret, the intent behind it for them to be secret about it ain't good.
Right.
Because they don't want everybody to know. Because there's a whole lot of explaining he got to do.
Yeah, whole lot of explaining.
Yep, explaining. It's a battle line.
And I lost my train of thought again. But this whole thing about being secret in marriage is like because somebody's marital status should be known. Mm-hmm. It should be known if the brother's married or the sister's married or divorced. Like there's even a fairly recent situation where a sister's going around and making it known that she's available for marriage, but you have people who just recently seen her get married. Mm-hmm. But because we live in this world where we're not really around each other, we don't really live in communities the way we should.
Right.
It's easy for somebody to be married and pretend they're not married, or still be in iddah from the marriage and nobody knows.
Right, because they're not a part of community. Nobody knows them.
Right.
And you know what's, speaking on that, community is so important. You have some that say, I don't need to belong to a community to practice my Islam. You do need to, because somebody needs to vouch for you. Somebody needs to bury, wash your body, prepare you for burial. It's a whole lot of things. And if people don't know you in a community, how are they supposed to help you? How do I know if you were actually married to this person or not? Y'all didn't want to have anything to do with the community, but as soon as he hit you upside the head, you want to run to the EBAM and say, look, he hit me upside my head. But you never let anybody inform you that you were in the community and that you was in the situation in the first place, and then you expect like immediate assistance. This person don't know you or your situation. And
people treat masjids or communities like Walmart or like store. Mm-hmm. They only go in there when they want to buy something. Or like, so they, like, you just mentioned a type of situation. I remember a situation, you gonna know what I'm talking about, where the sister, she just went off, and when I imagine a situation, a lot of times I make things into movies into my head when somebody thinks about it. I imagine her like a cave woman, right? And she went and got a kafir off the street, bust him upside the head, and said, "You Muslim now, repeat after me." La ilaha. And he repeated, and he said, "Come out my house now," right? And she married him, right? Because basically what she did was, however she met this dude, she met a non-Muslim, got him to take shahada, she married him, mm-hmm. and then they got married, mm-hmm. and at some point he started beating the hell out of her, mm-hmm. and then she started going to all the communities in the area saying, "My husband is beating me. We need somebody to help me." Mm-hmm. And like people was like, "Okay, what community you belong to? Do I need to belong to a community to get some help?" Mm-hmm. Right? And so she started blaming all the imams. Mm-hmm. It wasn't me. I didn't live in the city. Mm-hmm. But, she started blaming all the imams for not coming to her sister's aid. Mm-hmm. And then, alhamdulillah, 'cause when I heard about it on social media. A sister, kind of got into it because everybody was jumping on the bandwagon, cheerleading. Yeah, these imams, they don't care about the sisters and all that. And the sister had to triage, had to question her. All right, what masjid you got married at? Oh, I didn't get married at a masjid. What masjid does a brother go to? Well, he don't go to no masjid. That's how we got all the information that this dude wasn't even Muslim, didn't learn nothing about the deen. It was just some cat she done, brought in out the rain from the street and married him. And then he turned out to start beating her. And now she wants to lay it at the doorstep of the Muslim community. And I know as an imam that your hands is full and my community is small. So I can only imagine bigger communities. Your hands is full as an imam dealing with the people who are willingly and openly part of your community and supporting you. Your hands is full already.
Right.
Not to speak of people who are not part of your community. And now we got social media, so people from all over the world come and seek your help or advice or whatever, right? For somebody to be like, okay, me, I don't really like you. I don't support you. I don't really care for your community or match or anybody in it, but I need you to help me. Right? So one such administrator was like, I forgot what he said, but I had to laugh. He was basically like, boo-hoo. And he didn't hold no punches. He said that sounds like a personal problem. Deal with it.
Right. The power.
So, being part of the community is extremely important. Now that's something else. If you part of a community, everybody knows you, everybody knows him, and you can't get no help. And there's a lot of that going on too.
Yeah.
But
unfortunately,
there's a lot of that going on too. But this is one of the things that will de-escalate or put a stop to a lot of nonsense. The bottom line is a lot of people just playing with the deen. Like most people don't go in Walmart to hang out and chill and support the Walmart cause. No, you go in there, you shop, you get what you want, and get out. And you get out quick before a ratchet moment break out. Because there's a whole bunch of World Star Walmart videos. Right? So, I mean, it goes down in Walmart. So you ain't trying. If you shop there, you ain't trying to stay there.
Right. In and out.
In and out. And so, but that's the way people treat the masjid. And everybody got their excuse. Oh, they treat me so bad. Oh, they so judgmental. You know what they call judgmental?
What's judgmental? You
doing something openly haram and somebody trying to correct you. That's judgmental.
No.
They looking down on me. No, you just think that you can do what you want, how you want to do, and the deen is whatever you think it is at the moment. Nobody's supposed to tell you anything. And you get upset when somebody tells you something, and so now everybody's being judgmental.
Right. SubhanAllah.
So anyway, I'm good.
Alhamdulillah. So, you want to recap what we discussed?
No, we really recap. We basically talked about we talked about secret marriages. We talked about marrying non-Muslims, and what motivated us to even talk about this subject is this interview with the everybody knows as Precious, Gabby Sidibe. She has a new book out or a new book coming out, and they did an interview with her on NPR, and she mentioned that this what made me want to listen. She mentioned that her father was Muslim from Senegal, and her mother was an African-American non-Muslim. And so that made me think, because it's very relevant, it's very real, happens all the time, and a lot of us may be the product of these situations, or may be in a situation similar to that. So we wanted to extract some lessons for the benefit of our listeners in that situation. So if you are in that situation or considering getting in a similar situation, that you will think twice. That you will think long and hard. Choose well who you about to marry. And I know you didn't mean it the way you said it, but I want to correct you anyway. That Muslim men are not permitted to marry non-Muslim women. We did it. We talked about it on the show. Muslim men are not allowed to marry non-Muslim women. Period. Full stop.
Oh, okay. I see what you're saying. Okay.
The exception to that rule are women from people of the book,
Right.
The Jews and the Christians.
Right.
I repeat, just in case you only heard the first sentence. It is not permissible for a Muslim man to marry a non-Muslim woman. Period. Next sentence. The exception to that rule are Jew and Christian women. Period.
Period. Okay. Alhamdulillah. Right. Thank you for that correction.
Because a lot of people,
Yeah.
and I've seen this, a lot of people think that it's permissible for a Muslim man to marry a non-Muslim woman. Period.
Right.
End of story, end of paragraph.
People of the book. That's right.
not true.
Right.
If you marry someone who says they're an atheist, or they're agnostic, or they don't believe in any religion, it's not permissible for you to marry her.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of brothers miss that. They think they can just marry any non-Muslim. No.
Mm-hmm.
See, if you thought about the fiqh before you got into the marriage, instead of thinking about the fiqh when you're trying to get out of taking care of some child that you had,
right,
we wouldn't have this problem.
Right.
And this used to be basic Islamic knowledge, but nowadays, I submit to the fact that things that used to be basic Islamic knowledge as early as 10 and 20 years ago is not basic Islamic knowledge anymore. It's deeper, higher sciences. I mean, we back to explaining La ilaha illallah Muhammadur Rasulullah right now.
Right.
I mean,
SubhanAllah.
And what the seal of the prophets mean, and that's how basic it is now.
SubhanAllah.
So, with that being said.
That being said, we want to thank everyone. Walaikum salam to Abikatu Abdul Malik. We want to thank everyone for coming out. Like y'all came out physically, but tuning in to our show, alhamdulillah. We want to thank everyone for their input.
Hudayfa asked, can you explain people of the book? I remember you mentioning that before. People of the book are, in Surah Ma'idah, Surah 5, Allah mentions that it's permissible for the Muslim men to marry chaste women from among the believers and those who were given the book before you. And people of the book are referring to Jews and Christian women. And I'm glad you asked that question, because the ayat says chaste. Muhsinat min utul kitab. Chaste women from the people of the book. So you can't marry a Jew or a Christian that's a hoe. So Allah put chaste. A lot of people, sometimes we don't see what's there, but we see what we want to see. So there's conditions on that. So, number one, a Muslim man cannot marry just any non-Muslim. She has to be Jewish or Christian. And she has to be chaste. And the scholars, the top say on this is well known. You can find a discussion on this in all of the major commentaries of the Quran. So I hope I answered your question, inshallah. You can continue closing out, inshallah.
Want to also thank those who had intentions of calling in and tuning in. Remember that all our shows are podcasted on Mixlr, so you can listen to the shows there. You can also listen to the shows, watch the shows on our YouTube channel, Nurzaman channel on YouTube. So if you miss the majority of the show, you can go back and play it back, or we'll have it on YouTube. And inshallah, we'll be back next week. Our new time for right now, prior to Ramadan, is around 8:45 Eastern time. So if you want to know what is our time is 8:45 on Mondays, inshallah. And I want to make dua for those that are sick, those who are going through any trials, tribulations. May Allah ease your situation. May Allah heal you. and ask Allah to bless us. And if you have been blessed, may Allah keep that blessing, and may you be grateful for that blessing, and keep us in your du'as, and we'll keep you in ours, inshallah. So that being said, subhanaka Allahumma wa bihamdika ashhadu an la ilaha anta astaghfiruka wa atubu ilayk. Wal asra innal insana lafi khusr illa alladhina amanu wa amilu salihati wa tawassaw bil haqqi wa tawassaw bis sabr. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. May Allah bless all of you, and shukran for listening.